It's the Mustang Insider Show.
What's going on, Cal Poly fans? This is the Mustang Insider. We're just keeping them coming here as we get ready for the spring sports schedule to commence. Softball starts this weekend, followed by baseball hosting the Missouri Tigers powerhouse out of the SEC for a 4-game series right here in San Luis Obispo on President's Day weekend, opening on Friday, February the 16th. Now, of course, we'd always like to thank our partners before we take off here on Mustang Insider. Award-winning, high-quality, safe medical care that you can trust is just around the corner at French Hospital Medical Center. Proud supporters of Cal Poly Athletics. Learn more at dignityhealth.org/French Hospital. We're going to be breaking down Mustang Diamond Sports. We chatted with Jenny Condon, head softball coach, last week, getting ready to have some dialogue with Cal Poly baseball head coach Larry Lee this week. 37 home games this year, a lot of returners from last season's squad, lots of buzz, lots of excitement around this 2024 Cal Poly baseball squad. And yeah, we've got the jacket on. We're dressing warm. It's been raining. It's been cold around here lately. We're hoping all of that goes away with a lot of home games early in the season. We want to get them in at Baggett Stadium. A lot of big RPI opportunities early in the schedule for Cal Poly baseball. And what they hope is a resurgent season to get back to an NCAA regional. We'll be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the 2014 Big West champs that hosted a regional, of course, here in San Luis Obispo at Baggett Stadium. So 10 years later, here's to hoping some history can repeat itself with Cal Poly baseball. All right, baseball season right around the corner. Larry Lee is the head coach of the Cal Poly Mustangs and joins us here on Mustang Insider. Coach, I see you there in the beautiful Dignity Health baseball clubhouse. How was the offseason for you, man? I mean, Brooks is right on the cusp of the big leagues, and you had a fair share of newcomers join the program. You've got some returners that were freshmen last year that I know you're hoping take a big leap into their sophomore season. How have you spent the last 8 to 9 months since the 2023 campaign wrapped up?
Just doing a little bit of everything. It's always a long off season, and then as you get closer to the season, then you try to just make sure you're doing everything possible to prepare your team for game number one, and then once it happens, like it goes by quick. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything, and I didn't get a chance to see. I got a chance to see Brooks maybe 3 days midsummer, and then had some things come up where I couldn't see him later when he was called up to AAA. So, but he comes out here every day, at least for spring training on Tuesday, and obviously looking for good things. He's a better version of himself every year. He comes back and works on it, what he needs to work on, and so it's neat seeing his development as he gets older year after year.
Well, I know that the Twins are visiting the San Francisco Giants this summer, and I think I saw something about a Cal Poly alumni or Cal Poly baseball fan gathering, and the hopes is obviously for him to be participating in that series, and we'll see how things come along this year. But before then, you've got a college baseball season you're getting ready for, and it's highlighted by 37 home games, and this schedule, Coach, is a very similar, I think, to the schedule that you had put together back in 2020 before the bulk of that season got canceled, right? I mean, you've got Missouri coming, you've got Ohio State coming, you've got Utah coming, and then you go to Texas in between time on the second weekend of the regular season. One of the tougher schedules that you've assembled in your almost quarter century at the helm. Take me through kind of what went behind bringing some of these big programs into town, and obviously the Texas series is a big RPI opportunity for you guys as well.
Yeah, first 4 weeks of non-conference, we touched 4 of the 5 Power 5. So, Missouri's in the SEC, then we go to Texas in the Big 12, Utah the last year of the Pac. It's a return trip from last year, and then Ohio State from the Big 10 comes. So, yeah, real good schedule, all quality programs. So you just got to win baseball games. If you put up enough wins, it's really going to help you, because it's a schedule outside of Utah that's based outside of the West, and not a lot of our California and West Coast teams are going to play those teams. So that's what you want. You want to play quality teams. You want to play teams outside of your area if at all possible. And yeah, looking forward to it. It's a couple of teams that I don't think I'm not sure if we've ever played or if I've ever played Ohio State. Have not played Texas. I've obviously played Utah, and then Missouri. Yeah, I think maybe played them once or twice in a tournament at some point. But yeah, looking forward to it, and a lot of practice time in the fall and January to mid-February. But now it's a chance to see, what your strengths, what your weaknesses are, and get a chance to build and create practices that can address whatever issues that we have.
Yeah, it was Missouri State that was here to open the season last year, and it's the Missouri Tigers of the SEC coming to town for a 4-game series to open this season. So you mentioned the first 4 weeks being against power conference opponents, the first 4 series of the season. How important is it for your team to come out sharp here and kind of have everything clicking to be able to pick up some of those resume wins early in the season? I know that traditionally, at least the last decade, you guys have kind of started a little bit slower and then picked things up in the Big West. And sometimes the second place finish in the conference hasn't been good enough to get into the NCAA regionals. So, I mean, what do you see as the necessary achievement for this team the first month of the season to be kind of in that conversation once conference play rolls around in mid-March?
Yeah, we're always in a situation. I think a lot of Big West teams are in the same situation where we have to have a really good non-conference record to go along with a quality Big West record. You can't falter in non-conference or conference. What they have to both be on. So I've always told our teams. I mean, game one is just as important as the last game of the season, and we need to come out ready and one pitch at a time, one a game at a time, and try to see how many games we can win, how many games we can get above 500, and then prepare ourselves for the Big West. Big West is going to be really, really good. It's probably going to be the best that it's been in a number of years. There was a slight downfall maybe in I'm trying to guess 2018-19 probably, and then last year was a solid Big West where some of the teams got back into it, and this year I think it's even more so. I think it's some real quality teams up for grabs, and looking forward to it. That's a good thing when the Big West is strong again.
Jason Gill joins your coaching staff here, longtime LMU head coach. What has he brought to your program on a day-to-day basis?
Well, Jason played for me at Cuesta in 1991-92. Then has been surrounded by a number of different, high-level coaches, Augie Garrido and George Horton and John Savage, and so he sees things more like I do than really anybody I've had. So we kind of speak the same language. So it's been a real good hire. He's a very good recruiter. He's puts a tremendous amount of time into what he's doing, and then we have great conversations about things. So I'm really happy to have him on board, but also just feel really good about this entire staff. Everybody has a good knowledge base. Everybody's continuing to develop as coaches, and it's been good because you don't always have that situation. But this crew that I have is very, very good.
Got to ask you about some of the newcomers. I mean, you just scroll through the roster. I see a lot of junior college additions that you guys have made. Obviously, Carson Turnquist's name pops out from Paso Robles High School, Oklahoma. I believe he's going to miss the season, though, right? Down with Tommy John.
Yeah, I just had December 22nd had Tommy John surgery. Out of high school, he had a partial tear and finally caught up to him. And then Luke Kovac, junior college left-handed pitcher from Cabrillo High School, via Hancock, same thing. He had it, I think, on the 6th of December. So those guys will be out a year. Hopefully we get him back by the beginning of the season next year. But we brought in 7 freshman pitchers, and then I don't know. We have a kid named Jacob Torres from Sierra Junior College, so he might be our one. Well, actually, there's another kid. It's a 2-way kid, Cam Hoyland. He's a left-handed pitcher, outfielder from a junior college up in Washington. So yeah, it's good. And there's a mixture of old guys, and then there's those 7 pitchers all have a chance to be very good, and probably the majority of them are going to get thrown into the frying pan right away, just because the one they're good, but 2, I mean, we play I think 8 games in the first 10 days, so I think we're going to wind up using a lot of pitchers, and that's a good thing to get their feet wet early and see what they bring to the table.
How do you feel about the weekend rotation right now? Some 4-game series early in the season. You've got that Utah Tech 4-game series during the Big West bye in mid-May. But obviously, we see some names coming back that logged significant innings as starters last season. Jacob Wright, injured first half of the season, saw some flashes of what he's capable of late in the year. Ryan Baum was an innings eater for you, either in the starting role or a long reliever type of role. Stephen Brooks has experience, as does Freddie Rodriguez, Charlie Royal, Evan Tomlinson, Noah Larkin. What does the weekend rotation look like as you get ready for Missouri?
Oh, not sure. I think for us to have success, I think it's going to take the entire pitching staff. I think there's a lot of I think quality bullpen arms. The first 3 names he mentioned, Brooks, Baum, and Wright, they're going to be given the opportunity to start right away. Probably be to be determined for a Monday starter, a game 4 starter. But that's kind of out of the entire team. That's kind of the unknown of how we're going to be. And I never have a great feel for how we're going to do. And if you think you're really strong on one side of the ball and maybe not so on the other side of the ball, sometimes it just flips as soon as the season starts. Just the opposite, because our pitchers are always facing the same hitters, and our hitters are always facing the same pitchers. So it's like you're not quite sure how to evaluate. And the true evaluation comes when the lights get turned on for real. But I know from a position player standpoint, we're pretty strong as long as we stay healthy. We're real strong up the middle. You got Stafford, who might be the best defensive catcher in college baseball, and we're hitting the middle of the lineup. And you have Casillas, who's a 5th-year senior, and very intelligent, smart. Shortstop, probably have Fenn at second base, who led our team in hitting. You got Jacob Steels in center field, who can really run down a fly ball, as a lot of makeup speed in the outfield. And then in the corners you got Joe York. He's back for his 5th year. He's the smartest guy on the field. He's like another coach. And it helps our younger guys and our older guys. Probably a 4-year transfer from Regis College, Zach Dode at third base, right-handed hitter, very good, can play anywhere in the infield. I have a freshman kid named Alejandro Garza from Bakersfield. Guy, he's just a ball player. He's just an old school ball player. That can play all 3 positions. And you got Evan Cloyd, who is a bat in our lineup that will back up York and will take over for him next year. But he'll be in that DH spot. And then you got a number of different outfielders in the corners to figure out who you're going to play. So we have a couple of about 3 junior college kids out there, and Tate Shamal. We took 2 of our guys and moved them from the infield to the outfield, just to thought if they were going to have success defensively, that would be the spots for them to, to flourish.
It kind of leads me into my next thing because you had a really young team last year, right? A lot of inexperience, a lot of guys kind of learning as they go, and they saw significant time, whether it be in the batting order or logging innings for you guys. I mean, Ryan Fenn was in the first season with your program last season and put up terrific numbers, batting average department wise. Obviously, Aaron Casillas, you had seen him for a few years at Cal State Bakersfield. He was really under recruited out of high school, but I know you really liked what you saw in the offseason leading up to last year. What freshmen from last season's team, and I'm talking about the Cloyds, the Kings, the Shamaus of the world, like who do you think took the biggest leap this offseason from inter squads and some of the scrimmages?
Well, it's probably the two guys that you said, Cloyd and Shamau. I mean, they have a chance to, be, plus bats. They both have power. They both improved. They got a lot of at bats last year and playing time, and it's just trying to figure out how to get them both in the lineup, because right now you have York ahead of Cloyd, so that kind of limits him to a DH role, and then Shamal's just kind of learning how to play the outfield. And so, if you put him in left, then, you got Steels that can really help him being in center. And then, he's got to figure out, who you're going to put in right field, whether it's going to be Murray or it's going to be a kid named Cordick, junior college kid from Golden West, and it's going to be hard to get certain guys out of the lineup. And so, I mean, it's probably one of the more deeper teams depth-wise, from a position player standpoint. So you hope that stays like that. But I think maybe for once, like if somebody gets hurt, there's a capable backup for him. And a lot of teams that we've had here, even really successful teams, the frontline guys are really good, and the backup guys, there's a drop off. So I think we're in a little bit better shape depth wise, but we'll see. I think those are probably the two guys. And then, on the pitching side, we haven't really developed. I think these 7 freshman pitchers that have come in have leapfrogged a lot of guys. So, and that's a good thing.
No, Coach, we talked about the tough non-conference schedule off the bat, first 4 weekends against power conference teams. And you mentioned how much better you think the Big West is than it has been in recent memory. Obviously, Cal State Fullerton got the auto bid last year, but let's not forget UC San Diego was actually the conference regular season champ. They're still not eligible for the postseason. This is their last purgatory year, so to speak. But Fullerton showed some signs of kind of being back on track last year. Santa Barbara would have been in if not for losing to you guys in the final game of that series, and then going and getting swept at Hawaii. Hawaii's been a lot better under Rich Hill, embarking on his 3rd season. Long Beach State always going to be a contender. CSUN has been better in recent memory. What's the magic number in the win department, do you think, if the Big West is as good as you feel it might be this year, to get to the postseason? Because remember, I mean, it was 2 years ago, 37 wins, and obviously the RPI wasn't sexy enough to get in, and that was frustrating because eye test wise, you mentioned you felt that was very much a regional caliber team 2 seasons ago in 2022. So what's the number? I mean, is 37 good enough? Do you need to get to 40? Where do you think you need to be at the end of this thing to get into the postseason?
You need to win the conference. There is no magic number, and the selection committees prove that year after year. So again, I don't want to talk about the RPI, but I mean, Irvine last year did everything right. I think they were something like 8-1 against the Pac-12. They won, I think, the majority of their conference series. They won 38 games. Yeah. And then obviously, Brooks and Thorpe's last year here. You win 37 games, and you can't. You can't. It's. We won 9 of 10 conference series, but the Fullerton and Long Beach had a down year, and then some of your bottom teams kind of drug you down. So, that's why I say there's no magic number. It's just like you can't rely on anything but winning the conference series and get our conference championship and getting a automatic berth. So I really think this year, if everybody stays healthy, there's we have 11 teams in our conference. There's probably 6 or 7 teams this year that could go out and win a regional. That's how strong the Big West is this year. But I don't know. I mean, it's we're in different days right now, and it's tough out west to get a regional bid unless you're in the Pac, and you're probably going to get 5 or 6 bids from the Pac-12.
Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to break down the upcoming season with us. It all starts next Friday. The Missouri Tigers come to town, open up a 4-game series. We're hoping that the weather stays clear enough to get all these early season home games in. We've had a little bit of a storm stretch here on the Central Coast, but certainly looking forward to some baseball. There's no better afternoon in San Luis Obispo than a sunny afternoon at Baggett Stadium. I'll take that 10 out of 10 times, and I know you will too, Coach. Appreciate it, my friend. Good luck this next week as you get ready for the Tigers, and we'll see you out there, and we'll be streaming all these games on ESPN Plus. So if you can't make it, we'll have them for you this year, and we're excited about that too. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Chris.
All right, tough to not be excited about the baseball season after chatting with Larry Lee, longtime Mustang head coach. Optimistic about this group, and we'll see what they have for us. February 16th, 6 p.m. at Baggett Stadium. It ain't going to be that bad out. I know it's winter baseball, but it's the start of college baseball season. Quality opponents coming in. Get yourself some Cal Poly swag, some Cal Poly jackets, sweaters. Stay warm. Cheer on the Mustangs, and we'll see you out at Baggett Stadium to open up the 2024 baseball season next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Mustang Insider Podcast.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.